We all prefer things a certain way, like groceries. If you want groceries just how you like them, you gotta try Instacart. They have a new preference picker that lets you pick how ripe or unripe you want your bananas. Shoppers can see your preferences upfront, helping guide their choices. Because when it comes to groceries, the details matter. Instacart. Get groceries just how you like.
You know what's wild? Most people are still overpaying for car insurance just because it's a pain to switch. That's why there's Jerry. Jerry's the only app that compares rates from over 50 insurers in minutes and helps you switch fast with no spam calls or hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Before you renew your car insurance policy, do yourself a favor. Download the Jerry app or head to jerry.ai/ACAST.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dreaming of getting the all-new iPhone 17 Pro designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever?
Then stay in bed and let a Boost Mobile expert deliver and set it up for you.
Oh, actually, they will have to get up and open the door.
Oh, right.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com. Terms apply.
Most all-in-one HR systems are a patchwork of disconnected and manual tools. Rippling is totally automated. If you promote an employee, Rippling can automatically handle necessary updates, from payroll taxes and provisioning new app permissions to assigning required manager training. That's why Rippling is the #1 rated human capital management suite on G2, TrustRadius, and Gartner. If you're ready to run the backbone of your business on one unified platform, head to rippling.com/AcastBiz and sign up today. That's RIPPLING.com/AcastBiz to sign up.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Whispering Woods After Dark. We've got one long story to share today, and it's all about the Mulberry Black Thing. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the story? A moonless night hangs over the back roads of Whitley County, Kentucky. A man trudges carefully through the Mulberry Holler, boots splashing in a shallow creek as he carries his young son toward the old family farm. The air around him suddenly seems to thicken, unnaturally still and heavy. He pauses mid-step. A chill prickle runs up his spine. In the dim beam of his torch, something shifts among the gnarled willow trees by the bank. Then he sees it, a hulking black shape, just beyond the reach of the light. It has the vague outline of a giant animal, like a bear standing on its hind legs, and two large, glowing yellow eyes fixed directly on him. The man lets out a startled curse, clutching his boy tightly. He spins around and splashes back the way he came, terror pressing him forward as those eyes smoulder in the darkness behind. By the time he reaches the house and grabs his rifle for courage, the silent woods are empty once more. Whatever that black yellow-eyed thing was, it's gone. But the man knows what he saw. In these parts, folks have a name for it. They call it the Mulberry Black Thing. Now wide awake and trembling, the father will not cross that creek again tonight. He will drive the long way round to his kin's place. Inside, he paces and recalls old family warnings. This remote patch of Appalachia has harboured tales of a shape-shifting creature for as long as anyone can remember. It stalks the lonely roads and woods around the rural community of Mulberry, just east of Williamsburg, Kentucky. Locals simply dubbed it the Mulberry Black Thing, a plain but ominous name for something no one can fully explain. The legend is a fixture of Whitley County folklore. Children grow up hearing that if they misbehave or wander too far at night, the Black Thing might get them. And adults, even if they laugh it off in daylight, tend to drive a little faster on Route 92 after dark, especially when the woods go quiet and that uneasy feeling of being watched creeps in. So what exactly is the Mulberry Black Thing? No one knows for sure, and that's part of the fear. According to legend, it's not an ordinary animal or ghost, but something in between. Some say it's a witch's creation, a conjured entity bound to a long-dead sorceress from the Mulberry area. In these tellings, many years ago, an old mountain witch was wronged by local folk, and she swore revenge. With her dying breath, she promised to send a shape-shifting fiend to haunt the community. True to the curse, a Black Thing began terrorising Mulberry Hollow soon after. Whether the witch controls it from beyond the grave, or her wrath simply birthed the creature, isn't clear, but the story stuck. Some residents point to an overgrown grave deep in the hills, supposedly the witch's burial, as the source of the evil. She said when she died, she'd send the Mulberry Black Thing, goes one version of the law. It's a classic Appalachian cautionary tale, part witchcraft, part ghost story. Others take a slightly different view, one that paints the Mulberry Black Thing as less of a vengeful pet and more of a primal force. A local folklore enthusiast once described it as some amorphous collection of psychic energy that acts like a mirror of the soul. In other words, the creature's form and intent allegedly reflect the character of whoever encounters it. This strange idea comes from the many inconsistent encounters people have reported. According to that source and similar oral accounts, if you come into Mulberry with cruelty or evil in your heart, the Black Thing will sense it, and you might just meet a violent end. There are old yarns of poachers or troublemakers who went into those woods and were suddenly attacked by a huge black beast, clawed and mauled as if by a bear intent on punishing them. On the flip side, there are also tales of decent folks who encountered the thing and lived to tell the tale with hardly a scratch. One truck driver's car mysteriously broke down on a desolate Mulberry road at night. He feared the worst when a dark shape loomed nearby, only to find a puddle of oil under his engine that gave him just enough to get the motor running again. He made it to the next town safely, convinced that whatever Black Thing lurked in the woods had actually helped him. This dual nature, sometimes a harbinger of doom, other times an almost guardian angel, makes the Mulberry Black Thing an even more mysterious figure. In Whitley County law, people speculate that the creature might test your spirit, If you're wicked, it brings retribution. If you're virtuous, or simply unlucky, it may just spare you or even lend a strange helping hand. For most folks, however, the Mulberry Black Thing is something to be feared, not befriended. Its appearance alone is the stuff of nightmares, mainly because it doesn't have one single appearance. As stories attest, the thing is a shapeshifter. Witnesses over the years have described a menagerie of forms. Many people have seen it in many different forms, from a black panther to a headless man. One local article explains. Others say it can be as small as a black cat, or as large as a full-grown bear. The only common trait is the colour, jet black, like a shadow come to life, peering from the darkness. Sometimes it has no discernible head or eyes at all, just a silhouette of pure black night. One story tells of a driver who felt a presence, glanced to his passenger seat, and saw a faceless dark shadow sitting right beside him in the car. By the time he could react, it vanished. In other accounts, it resembles an animal, but not exactly. A hulking panther-like creature that can melt into the shadows, or a black mass that moves on all fours one moment and two legs the next. This fluid, indefinable form is why people just call it the Black Thing. It's not a bear, not a big cat, not a person, but something that could be any of those in an instant. You see a black panther, you blink, and now it's a tall, featureless man. Blink again, it's gone. Despite its changing shapes, encounters with the Mulberry Black Thing follow a consistent pattern. Anyone from the area can recite. First comes the stillness. The nighttime chorus goes dead silent. The air itself feels heavy or dense. Many compare it to the feeling of being underwater or in a pressure chamber. Next comes the cold dread, an icy chill crawling up your spine, goosebumps prickling your arms. You might catch a whiff of something odd. Ozone, sulphur, wet fur, reports vary. Or hear an inexplicable sound. The faint panting breath of a large animal when none is visible. The sound of hoofbeats on pavement when no horse is there. Or a distant blood-curdling scream that doesn't quite sound human. At this point, every instinct in your body is lightly screaming at you to leave. And that would be wise, because the next stage is the encounter. Then it happens, as one storyteller put it grimly. Maybe you'll catch sight of eyes shining in your flashlight beam, or a rush of motion as something black charges at you. Engines have inexplicably sputtered and died at the critical moment, as if the thing can make machines fail. Sometimes it toys with its prey. More than one witness has described a scenario where they hear crashing footsteps keeping pace just out of sight, matching them move for move until they break and run. One Reddit user shared chilling stories of locals hearing a high-pitched, unearthly scream in the woods, and then being chased by an invisible predator. At first it sounded bipedal, like a person running, but then it dropped to all fours and gained speed, as if a human figure morphed into an animal mid-chase. In those stories, the people barely made it to safety, slamming the house door or gunning the truck just in time as a dark shape slammed against the wall or tailgate, then vanished. They survived, but they knew something uncanny had almost gotten them. Not every encounter is so dramatic. Some are just brief sightings that leave the witness questioning themselves. There are accounts of motorists on lonely Mulberry roads, glimpsing a black panther slinking across the road, far larger than any cougar known in Kentucky, and official wildlife authorities insist no panthers live in these woods. These apparitions often disappear when investigated. Hunters sitting in tree stands have reported a sudden oppressive silence, followed by the sense that a shapeless black shadow moved below them through the trees. By the time they climb down, it's gone. On rare occasions, the black thing has been described as a headless black humanoid, looming at a crossroads or peering around a bend, only to dissolve into the night when approached. Whatever form it takes, the effect on those who see it is usually the same: pure terror. A local who grew up in these hollers explained that everyone who has heard tell of it is certain it's no worldly animal, and almost all of them immediately flee when it appears. Flight or fight isn't even a question, it's always flight. One man's elderly relative recounted that as a boy, he tried to confront the thing once, out of bravado. He claimed it appeared as a small black horse on a foggy back road. He shouted and even threw a rock to scare it off. In response, the black horse thing simply vanished on the spot. Then moments later, rematerialized a few yards away, closer to him, as if playing a game. It made no sound at all. This happened repeatedly, disappear, reappear, each time from a new direction, circling him silently in the dark. Finally, the young man took the hint and gave up the chase. He backed away, and the black thing melted into the forest for good. He later swore that whatever it wasn't an actual horse. It moved too unnaturally. The experience shook him to the core. Even the boldest souls learn humility when faced with something like that. The Mulberry black thing may be a frightening folk tale, but to the people in its home turf, it's woven into the landscape. This region of Kentucky, nestled in the Appalachian foothills, has a long tradition of ghost stories and cryptid legends. From the Bride of Cumberland Falls to the Devil's Creek Lights, southeastern Kentucky has no shortage of spooky folklore. Yet the Mulberry black thing stands out because it feels so personal to Mulberry's identity. It's their monster, the silent guardian or cursed demon of their own holler. One man recollects listening to his father tell the story by a campfire in the 1950s, how the air went still, the chill ran up his back, and a black dog emerged from the dark woods to lick his face. A merciful encounter that his father attributed to keeping a good heart. The family always inferred that the black thing spared him that night, appearing in gentle dog form because he was an innocent kid. But the father warned, "You never know what's out yonder, in those hills, so best stay on the straight and narrow." On the other hand, the very same family told of a neighbour who wasn't so pure of intent. A mean drunk or wife-beater, as the story goes, who stumbled home one night and was found the next morning, clawed to ribbons. The official explanation was a bear attack, but folks said that it was the black thing delivering mountain justice. And one Reddit user recounted their drunk uncle spinning exactly that kind of yarn, that the Mulberry Black Thing would seek out bad people who were out after dark and hunt them. Beyond oral tradition, the legend has left its mark in local records and even the wider paranormal community. The Shadowlands Haunted Places Index, an early internet catalogue of ghostly locations, lists a brief entry from Williamsburg, Kentucky. It mentions a black panther that roams the forests at night and then disappears, noting that locals call this apparition the Mulberry Black Thing. It shows how ingrained the legend is, to show up alongside Kentucky's more famous ghosts and haunts. In recent years, thanks to the internet, the Mulberry Black Thing has slowly crept beyond its home region. Discussions on forums and social media reveal scattered witnesses and many curious listeners. In a thread about urban legends, one user from Kentucky wrote, "My hometown has a story about the Mulberry Black Thing, mostly a bad omen that takes the shape of a black panther with red eyes. Though they added, it can shapeshift into other shapes and be a good omen sometimes." They even mentioned a high school classmate who came running home one evening, claiming he'd been chased by a huge black panther near his family's property. On the subreddit devoted to Appalachian culture, someone asked if others had heard of the Mulberry Black Thing. Jokey replies aside, a few affirmed it and compared notes with White Fang, creatures reported in Alabama and West Virginia, suggesting the story resonates with a broader Appalachian theme of mysterious phantom beasts. The legend has also caught the attention of cryptid enthusiasts. In a recent post about regional monsters, a user highlighted southeastern Kentucky's Legends of the Mulberry Black Thing, a panther-like creature able to melt into shadows. Clearly, the Black Thing is graduating from local lore to a bona fide regional cryptid in the eyes of the paranormal community. Despite the growing fame, to the people who have actually walked under those dark mulberry trees at night, the Mulberry Black Thing is anything but a mere story. It's a presence you feel in your gut. It's the reason your grandmother insisted you be home by sundown, and why even hunters carry an extra flashlight and perhaps a prayer when they head into the woods. Skeptics say it's all a superstition, perhaps misidentified wildlife, stray black bears or feral dogs, amplified by imagination. After all, the Appalachian woods can play tricks on the senses, and an old folktale can easily prime people to panic at the rustle in the bushes. But even some skeptics have had moments of doubt out there. That silence and heaviness in the air. Countless residents swear that part is real, whether or not a monster follows. One lifelong Whitley County native admitted that while he never exactly saw the Black Thing, he often got a feeling of being followed or watched whenever he drove through the hollow at night. It was enough that he'd catch himself speeding up to burst out of the dark stretch faster. There's a local saying, nothing good happens in Mulberry after midnight. Supernatural creature or not, people act like something dangerous lurks in those woods when the sun goes down. In the woods of Kentucky, something is out there, whether devil, protector, or just a story, and it ensures that the night in Mulberry Hollow is never truly empty. And now a couple of stories from Kentucky. One night I went for a walk, and in the middle of the night I heard this human-esque howling stroke bellowing It was something beyond this world. Normally, sounds like this can be explained by nature. But this happened on a golf course, in the middle of the suburbs in Kentucky. The sounds were like a screaming banshee, mixed with the power and loudness of the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. And on my walk back home, I saw a large dark figure in a tree. And mind you, there was no wind or breeze. And as I got closer, suddenly a giant gust of wind hit the tree, and only the tree. It was a large oak, and it nearly bent in half under the pressure. The closest thing I could describe that takeoff, gust, was like when a helicopter flies near the trees. The gust hit the trees in a downward direction, not like a gust of wind, more like a giant bat or bird taking off. Now that insane noise and presence amid the giant wind gusts and the figure happened on the same night. Apparently other people in Kentucky have made eerily similar reports. 1. Loud unearthly howling, screaming. 2. Giant winged figures and gusts of wind. 3. Unexplainable downward gusts of wind, only affecting a particular spot. I'm not sure exactly what I encountered, but I'm open to hear some takes on the situation, because it still haunts me. I'm new here, and I'd like to share my story about a local cryptid in my area. I live near the tail end of the Appalachian Mountains, in south-central Kentucky. A 10-minute drive south from my house takes you into a world of steep cliffs and deep hollows, and some of the most beautiful scenery Kentucky has to offer. There's a particular spur that takes you deep into the forest and down into ageless valleys, where the decaying remains of old stone walls and collapsed dwellings overtaken by pine trees whisper the stories of their architects. Not much different from the surrounding areas, this particular spot is named by the locals as Kino. Due to the rich history of the area, it turned into one of my favourite areas to explore. For many years, I'd heard vague mention or simple stories about a creature known as the Kino monster that supposedly lived in the area. I'd never put a second to the idea until one strange evening. I'd been exploring an area with my friend, known to have several abandoned buildings that were partially intact. My friend had shown me a cave that's believed to be a native burial site, an old cemetery from the early 1800s, and an old stone wall that appeared to mark out the edges of a property that has now become part of the forest. We were examining the remains of an old barn that was still standing, but unfortunately had been mostly stripped of its walls, leaving just the frame and the planks too high to reach without a ladder. It was starting to get dark, so we decided to have a quick break and then head back to the car. Just as we started picking up our bags to get moving, I heard it. It sounded like a soft owl hooting, but I'd never heard a species that sounded quite like that. It was too drawn out and slowed down, and its rhythm wasn't consistent. My friend quickly noticed this strange, almost howling sound now. It seemed to be getting closer with each iteration of its noises. At first we thought it was funny. After a few moments of silence, we were laughing about how it sounded like a drunk owl. Then we heard it again, but much closer, and from the other side of the barn. It was different now though, almost like a guttural groan at the end of its poorly mimicked owl sounds. This immediately sent chills up my spine. Even typing this now, it still makes my hair stand up. Now thoroughly creeped out, my friend and I started our fast-paced walk down the trail, back to the car. The noises started following now, getting louder and impossibly changing direction of origin, from one side of the trail to the other. We were trying to look to see how it was changing position so quickly, but couldn't detect any movement through the trees. Thankfully, we quickly reached the car, but the noises were still following, and now seemed to be coming from about 50 feet into the woods from where the car was. The guttural hooting had started turning into what sounded like a whimpering dog, like it was hurt and crying out for help. I looked at my friend, who was also in disbelief and terror at what we were hearing. The whimper started sounding angry though, and transitioned into what is probably the scariest sound I've ever heard in these woods. The sound can only be described as something out of a horror movie. It sounded like a gargled, almost human, psychotic moaning, followed by a rapid, deep garbled breath, and almost like it was slinging its head back and forth, like a wild animal rabidly tearing into a carcass. It seemed to stay at the same distance, but me and my friend didn't. We were in the car and down the road before we even discussed it. I'm still not sure what that thing was, but I'm glad I didn't find out. Some people I've told about this experience say it was the Kino monster, and that it was trying to lure us into the woods by sounding like an injured animal. I'm not sure, but I've never experienced anything like it since. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my story. Let me know if you have any idea what it might have been, or if you've experienced something similar.
AI is transforming customer service. It's real and it works. And with Finn, we've built the #1 AI agent for customer service. We're seeing lots of cases where it's solving up to 90% of real queries for real businesses. This includes the real-world complex stuff like issuing a refund or cancelling an order. And we also see it when Finn goes up against competitors. It's top of all the performance benchmarks, top of the G2 leaderboard, and if you're not happy, we'll refund you up to $1 million, which I think says it all. Check it out for yourself at fin.ai.
Most all-in-one HR systems are a patchwork of disconnected and manual tools. Rippling is totally automated. If you promote an employee, Rippling can automatically handle necessary updates, from payroll taxes and provisioning new app permissions to assigning required manager training. That's why Rippling is the #1 rated human capital management suite on G2, TrustRadius, and Gartner. If you're ready to run the backbone of your business on one unified platform, head to rippling.com/AcastBiz and sign up today. That's RIPPLING.com/AcastBiz to sign up.
I don't know if you guys have heard of this before, but it's a great story. It reminds me of those things in Harry Potter that can take on the form of your worst fear. So best stay good, unless you want to meet the Mulberry black thing if you're in Kentucky. I love Kentucky, there's so much going on there, isn't there? I love it. So many creatures to take a look at. Let's all go on a walk, shall we? We'll go to Appalachia and walk those Appalachian places and find all the black-eyed children and the Mulberry black thing and all the other creatures and cryptids that we can find. Sounds so much like fun, I'm up for it. Anyone else? Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again with Toby on Tuesday. Take care, everyone.
The longer you stay alive, the longer you can enjoy Boost Mobile's unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. So here are some tips. Do not parallel park on a cliff if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not mistake a wasp nest for a piñata if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not microwave a hard-boiled egg if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with the price that never goes up. Stay alive and enjoy unlimited wireless for $25 a month forever with Boost Mobile. After 30 gigs, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Big news! Boost Mobile is now sending experts nationwide to deliver and set up customers' new phones at home or work.
Wait, we're going on tour?
Not a tour. We're delivering and setting up customers' phones so it's easier to upgrade.
Let's get in the tour bus and hit the road.
No, not a tour bus. It's a regular car we use to deliver and set up customers' phones at home or work.
Are you a groupie on this tour?
We deliver and set up phones. It's not a tour.
Oh, you're definitely a groupie.
Introducing Store to Door. Switch and get a new device with expert setup and delivery wherever you're at.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com.
Over 90 of the top 100 U.S. accounting firms trust Bill to handle bill pay processes. Why? Because our tools are built on over $1 trillion of secure payments. We're not just moving money. We're powering financial workflows for 500,000 customers. That's a level of expertise you just can't fake. Ready to talk with an expert? Visit Bill.com/proven to get started and grab a $250 gift card as a thank you. Terms and conditions apply. See offer page for details.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.